Welcome to the channel that turns curiosity into adventure. We explore everything from ancient empires to modern innovations, uncovering the stories that make our world truly amazing. If you're ready for something extraordinary, you're in the right place. Now, we explain Hercules and his 12 labors, the ultimate Greek mythology story.
Hercules, known in Greek as Heracles, stands as one of the most iconic figures in world mythology. Renowned for his extraordinary strength, unparalleled courage, and heroic exploits, Hercules' life story is a tapestry woven from divine intrigue, human tragedy, and legendary feats that have echoed through millennia. Born as the son of Zeus, king of the Olympian gods, and Alcmene, a mortal woman of Thebes, Hercules' existence was marked from the very beginning by the complex interplay between divinity and mortality. His mother, Alcmene, a woman of remarkable virtue and piety, found herself entangled in the machinations of the gods, when Zeus, enamored by her beauty and virtue, seduced her in the guise of her husband. This divine intervention sowed the seeds of a life that would oscillate between glory and suffering, favor and misfortune. Hercules' birth, however, was not merely an event of earthly significance. It immediately drew the wrath of Hera, the wife of Zeus, whose jealousy and fury toward the offspring of her husband's infidelity would shape much of Hercules' early life. From the moment he entered the world, Hercules' extraordinary nature was apparent. Hera, seeking to destroy the newborn, sent 2 venomous serpents into his crib, intending to strangle him in his infancy. Yet Hercules, even as a mere infant, demonstrated his prodigious strength by grasping the serpents and strangling them with his bare hands. This act was an early indication of the hero's inherent power and foreshadowed the trials and challenges that he would face in the years to come. From his infancy, Hercules was a figure destined for legend, a mortal infused with divine strength and subjected to the whims and wrath of gods, a combination that would render his life both remarkable and tragic. As Hercules grew, his exceptional abilities became more pronounced, drawing attention from both mortals and immortals. His formative years were marked by rigorous training under the centaur Chiron, whose wisdom and knowledge of both combat and morality would play a crucial role in shaping the young hero. Chiron, renowned for his knowledge of medicine, strategy, and the arts of war, imparted lessons that transcended physical strength, teaching Hercules the principles of discipline, strategy, and ethical conduct. Under Chiron's guidance, Hercules honed his skills, learning not only to wield weapons with precision, but also to approach challenges with calculated intelligence. Despite this disciplined training, Hercules' life was frequently punctuated by episodes of violence and conflict, many of which were instigated or exacerbated by the relentless enmity of Hera. The goddess's vendetta against him manifested in numerous trials, pushing Hercules to confront situations that tested the very limits of his endurance, courage, and resolve. His adolescence was marked by feats of strength that both awed and terrified those around him. Tales abound of Hercules taming wild beasts, subduing bandits, and demonstrating superhuman prowess, all of which solidified his reputation as a figure of extraordinary capability and courage. However, these demonstrations of power were often accompanied by unintended consequences, as the hero's strength, while honorable, could also prove destructive, particularly when inflamed by anger or divine interference. The defining turning point in Hercules' life came as a result of a tragic series of events orchestrated by Hera's vengeance. Stricken by a fit of madness induced by the goddess, Hercules committed the unthinkable. He killed his wife Megara and their children. This act of violence, though not committed with deliberate malice, plunged Hercules into a profound guilt and despair, compelling him to seek atonement for his actions. In his quest for redemption, Hercules approached the oracle of Delphi, a sacred source of divine guidance, seeking a path through which he could reconcile with the consequences of his actions. The oracle's pronouncement was clear and formidable. Hercules was to serve King Eurystheus of Tiryns for 12 years and undertake 12 labors, each of which was designed to be extraordinarily difficult, seemingly impossible, and perilous. These labors were not mere acts of physical challenge. They were tests of character, intelligence, endurance, and moral fortitude, intended to both punish and purify the hero. Each labor required Hercules to confront formidable adversaries, navigate complex ethical dilemmas, and demonstrate qualities that transcended mere physical prowess. The 12 labors, therefore, became the defining episodes of his life, shaping his legacy and establishing him as a paragon of heroism in Greek mythology. The first labor assigned to Hercules was to slay the Nemean Lion, a monstrous creature whose presence had terrorized the region of Nemea. This lion was no ordinary beast. Its hide was impervious to weapons, rendering swords, arrows, and spears ineffective. To confront such a foe required not only strength, but also ingenuity and strategic thinking. Hercules embarked on his quest to confront the lion, traveling to the hills and valleys where the beast had made its lair. The pursuit was arduous, demanding vigilance, patience, and courage. Upon encountering the lion, Hercules initially attempted to strike it with his weapons, only to find that his efforts were futile. Recognizing that brute force alone would not suffice, Hercules employed his remarkable strength in close combat, ultimately wrestling the beast and strangling it to death. The victory over the Nemean lion, however, was not merely a triumph of physical might. Hercules faced the additional challenge of preparing the lion's hide for use as armor. Using the lion's own claws, he flayed the creature, crafting a protective garment that would become emblematic of his heroism and a symbol of his ability to turn adversity into advantage. The first labor thus exemplified Hercules' combination of physical strength, tactical acumen, and resilience, setting a precedent for the extraordinary feats that lay ahead.
The third labor involved the capture of the Ceryneian Hind, a sacred deer belonging to the goddess Artemis. Unlike the previous labors, which demanded overwhelming strength or confrontation with monstrous adversaries, this task required patience, speed, and subtlety. The Ceryneian Hind was renowned for its swiftness, golden antlers, and divine significance, making it almost impossible to capture without causing offense. Hercules pursued the hind relentlessly for an entire year, demonstrating extraordinary perseverance and dedication. When he finally succeeded in capturing the sacred creature, he faced the challenge of appeasing Artemis, who was angered by the interference with her divine property. Hercules' diplomacy and respect for the divine allowed him to return the hind unharmed, thereby completing the labor in a manner that preserved both the sanctity of the goddess and his own honor. This labor highlighted qualities of patience, strategic planning, and reverence for divine authority, emphasizing that heroism often encompasses wisdom, restraint, and moral consideration as much as strength. The fourth labor, the capture of the Erymanthian Boar, tested Hercules' courage and ingenuity in a new way. The boar, a massive and ferocious creature, roamed the slopes of Mount Erymanthus, devastating crops and terrorizing local populations. Hercules devised a clever plan to trap the beast, utilizing the natural environment and his knowledge of hunting tactics. He drove the boar into deep snow, where its movements were restricted, and successfully captured it alive, bringing it to King Eurystheus. The labor required not only physical exertion, but also resourcefulness, as Hercules needed to combine his strength with careful planning and environmental awareness. The capture of the Erymanthian boar reinforced the recurring theme in Hercules' labors, the necessity of blending physical power with intellect and strategy to overcome challenges that are both extraordinary and unpredictable. The fifth labor presented Hercules with a task of sanitation and ingenuity, the cleaning of the Augean Stables. King Augeas possessed immense herds of cattle, and the stables had not been cleaned in decades, accumulating mountains of filth. The labor seemed insurmountable due to the scale of the task, yet Hercules approached it with a blend of creativity and brute force. Instead of attempting to clean the stables by hand, he diverted 2 nearby rivers to flow through the stables, washing away the accumulated waste in a single day. This feat demonstrated Hercules' ability to employ unconventional methods to achieve seemingly impossible goals, showcasing the breadth of his heroism beyond direct combat and confrontation. The successful completion of this labor further solidified his reputation as a hero capable of combining ingenuity, planning, and strength in pursuit of complex objectives. The 6th labor, the capture of the Stymphalian Birds, introduced Hercules to creatures of formidable speed and deadly aggression. These birds, with metallic feathers and sharp beaks, terrorized the inhabitants of Arcadia. Hercules, recognizing that conventional methods would be ineffective against such agile opponents, received assistance from the goddess Athena, who provided a set of bronze rattles. By shaking the rattles, Hercules startled the birds, causing them to take flight, at which point he was able to shoot them down with precision arrows. The labor illustrated the recurring motif in Hercules' trials, the intersection of divine assistance, clever strategy, and mortal skill. Success in this task required not only physical exertion, but also the recognition of when to seek guidance from higher powers and to adapt tactics accordingly. By the completion of these 6 labors, Hercules had established himself as a hero of unparalleled capability, yet the journey was far from over. Each labor, while distinct in its challenges, shared common threads: the need for courage, resilience, strategic thinking, and moral judgment. Hercules' labors were not merely tests of physical prowess, they were profound exercises in character, forcing him to confront the consequences of his actions, navigate complex ethical dilemmas, and demonstrate qualities that transcended mere strength. The hero's narrative was thus shaped not only by the feats themselves, but by the manner in which he approached each challenge, with intelligence, respect for the divine, and unwavering determination.
The 7th labor required Hercules to capture the Cretan bull, a magnificent and powerful creature that wreaked havoc across Crete. This bull, said to have been sent by Poseidon, was noted for its immense strength, ferocity, and untamable nature. Hercules traveled to the island of Crete, where the bull had already caused widespread destruction, instilling fear among the inhabitants. Recognizing that direct confrontation with such a formidable beast could be fatal, Hercules approached the task with a combination of patience, strategy, and raw power. Using his unparalleled strength, he wrestled the bull, eventually subduing it and bringing it back alive to King Eurystheus. This labor, like many before it, demonstrated Hercules' ability to blend brute force with tactical planning, showcasing that heroism required not just physical capability, but also careful judgment, courage under pressure, and the ability to adapt to unforeseen circumstances. The successful capture of the Cretan bull solidified Hercules' reputation as a hero capable of overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges, further reinforcing the symbiotic relationship between his mortal ingenuity and divine favor. The 8th labor, the mares of Diomedes, involved the capture of a herd of flesh-eating horses belonging to the Thracian king Diomedes. These creatures were notorious for their violent nature, feeding upon human flesh and spreading terror throughout the region. To confront these unnatural beasts, Hercules employed a combination of strategic acumen, fearlessness, and martial skill. He infiltrated the stables and subdued the horses, but the labor required more than physical strength alone. Understanding the danger posed by their voracious appetites, Hercules fed Diomedes to his own horses, neutralizing the threat and gaining control over the herd. The capture of the mares and Diomedes underscored the recurring theme in Hercules' labors: the necessity of combining intellect with force, using strategy to manage not only the external threat, but also the inherent dangers associated with it. This labor highlighted Hercules' ability to think creatively under pressure, adapt to challenges, and demonstrate both courage and resourcefulness in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles. The 9th labor tasked Hercules with obtaining the girdle of Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons. Hippolyta was a warrior of unparalleled skill, and her girdle was a symbol of power and authority. Unlike previous labors involving monstrous beasts, this challenge required diplomacy, negotiation, and tactical intelligence. Initially, Hippolyta, recognizing Hercules' status and intent, agreed to give him the girdle willingly, demonstrating a willingness to respect strength and honor. However, the labor became complicated due to the interference of Hera, who disguised herself and incited the Amazons to believe Hercules intended to abduct their queen by force. A battle ensued, during which Hercules was forced to confront not only the Amazons, but also the divine machinations orchestrated by Hera. Ultimately, Hercules succeeded in acquiring the girdle, but the labor highlighted the dual nature of his challenges. Victories often required both skill in combat and the ability to navigate the influence of the gods, demonstrating that heroism was as much about wisdom and diplomacy as it was about strength. The 10th labor involved the capture of the cattle of Geryon, a formidable task that required Hercules to traverse vast and dangerous territories. Geryon, a fearsome giant with 3 bodies, possessed a prize herd of red cattle that resided on the distant island of Erythea. The journey to Geryon's domain was fraught with peril, including crossing deserts, facing hostile inhabitants, and navigating treacherous waters. Upon reaching the island, Hercules confronted Geryon directly, engaging in a battle that tested every aspect of his strength, endurance, and tactical acumen. The fight was intense, with Hercules employing his superior skill in combat and strategic thinking to overcome the 3-bodied giant and secure the herd. Driving the cattle back to King Eurystheus required additional resilience and endurance, as Hercules faced natural obstacles, hostile forces, and the ever-present challenges posed by long-distance travel in a dangerous world. This labor exemplified the combination of physical prowess, courage, and strategic foresight, highlighting that Hercules' heroism extended beyond mere strength to encompass intelligence, determination, and the capacity to endure adversity over prolonged challenges.
The 11th labor, the retrieval of the golden apples of the Hesperides, presented Hercules with a task steeped in divine mystery and danger. These sacred apples were guarded by the Hesperides, nymphs entrusted by the gods to protect them, and by a fierce 100-headed dragon named Ladon. The labor required not only courage and strength, but also cunning and the ability to navigate the complexities of divine politics. Hercules undertook a long journey to locate the garden where the apples were kept, encountering numerous obstacles along the way, including perilous landscapes, mythical creatures, and challenges that tested his resolve and ingenuity. Upon reaching the garden, Hercules faced the dragon Ladon, a formidable adversary whose many heads and vigilant nature posed a near impossible threat. Employing both skill and tactical intelligence, Hercules was able to overcome the dragon and acquire the golden apples, though some versions of the myth suggest he sought assistance from Atlas, the titan who held the heavens, demonstrating the interplay of mortal cunning and divine assistance in completing this extraordinary labor. The retrieval of the golden apples highlighted Hercules' ability to blend courage, strategic thinking, and alliances, illustrating that the hero's success depended not only on physical capability, but also on wisdom, negotiation, and adaptability in the face of overwhelming challenges. The 12th and final labor, perhaps the most daunting of all, required Hercules to descend into the underworld and capture Cerberus, the 3-headed guard dog of Hades. This labor demanded unparalleled courage, resilience, and respect for the divine order, as Hercules entered the realm of the dead, a place from which mortals rarely returned. Cerberus was not merely a beast. He was a supernatural guardian, loyal to Hades and imbued with powers that made him nearly invincible. Hercules' journey to the underworld required both preparation and composure, as he navigated a realm governed by strict divine laws and supernatural forces. Upon confronting Cerberus, Hercules relied on his immense strength,
skill, and strategic thinking, ultimately subduing the creature without resorting to lethal force. He brought Cerberus to King Eurystheus, completing the final labor and thus concluding his monumental series of tasks. The 12th labor symbolized the culmination of Hercules' heroic journey, representing mastery over death, mastery over adversity, and the reconciliation of mortal courage with divine sanction. By completing this labor, Hercules achieved a level of renown and immortality that would ensure his place as one of the most celebrated figures in mythology. The completion of the 12 labors marked a transformative period in Hercules' life. Each labor had tested not only his physical capabilities, but also his moral integrity, strategic thinking, and capacity for perseverance. From confronting monstrous beasts to navigating divine politics, negotiating with powerful figures, and venturing into supernatural realms, Hercules demonstrated a breadth of skill and character that transcended ordinary human ability. The labors collectively served as a framework for understanding the multifaceted nature of heroism in Greek mythology. It is not merely the possession of strength, but the application of intellect, courage, moral judgment, and resilience in the pursuit of challenging and often impossible objectives. Hercules' labors also reflected the broader cultural and religious values of ancient Greece, emphasizing the importance of perseverance, respect for divine authority, intelligence, and ethical conduct, alongside valor and martial skill.
Beyond their immediate narrative function, the 12 labors of Hercules have had enduring significance in both literary and cultural contexts. They've served as allegories for the human condition, representing the struggle against adversity, the pursuit of virtue, and the reconciliation of human limitation with divine expectation. Hercules' encounters with monstrous beings, treacherous landscapes, and divine challenges symbolize the obstacles faced by humanity, while his successes illustrate the potential for human ingenuity, courage, and perseverance to overcome even the most formidable difficulties. Each labor, whether it involved brute strength, cunning, or diplomacy, conveyed lessons about the balance between power and wisdom, action and reflection, and the necessity of moral integrity in the pursuit of excellence. Moreover, the narrative structure of the labors, sequentially escalating in difficulty and complexity, mirrors the developmental journey of an individual striving toward mastery, self-knowledge, and heroic accomplishment. Hercules' story, particularly through the lens of the 12 labors, also emphasizes the interconnectedness of the mortal and divine spheres in Greek mythology. His actions, while often heroic, were subject to divine scrutiny, interference, and sanction, reflecting the belief that human endeavor is inseparable from the influence of the gods. The interplay between mortal initiative and divine intervention underscores a central theme of Greek mythology, that heroism entails navigating not only the physical and moral challenges of the world, but also the capricious will of higher powers. Hercules' ability to adapt, strategize, and persevere despite these influences demonstrates the qualities that elevated him above ordinary mortals and solidified his enduring legacy as a paragon of heroic virtue. In conclusion, Part 2 of Hercules' epic narrative provides a comprehensive exploration of the remaining 6 labors, encompassing the capture of the Cretan bull, the mares of Diomedes, the girdle of Hippolyta, the cattle of Geryon, the golden apples of the Hesperides, and the descent into the underworld to capture Cerberus. Each labor embodies the integration of physical strength, intellectual acumen, moral discernment, and divine awareness, illustrating that true heroism in Greek mythology is multifaceted, requiring excellence across multiple domains. By completing these labors, Hercules not only redeemed himself for past transgressions, but also established a lasting mythological legacy, becoming a symbol of perseverance, courage, and the enduring human capacity to confront and overcome extraordinary challenges. The 12 labors, taken together, constitute a narrative of transformation, illustrating the evolution of Hercules from a mortal hero burdened by tragedy to an immortalized figure whose story continues to inspire admiration, reflection, and scholarly interest across cultures and generations. Hercules' legacy is inextricably tied to the moral and ethical dimensions of his labors. Unlike many mythological heroes whose stories focus solely on strength or conquest, Hercules' narrative emphasizes the necessity of perseverance, strategic intelligence, and moral discernment. Each labor, while presenting formidable physical challenges, also required ethical judgment and respect for divine authority. For example, in the capture of the Ceryneian Hind, Hercules demonstrated restraint and diplomacy by returning the sacred animal unharmed, highlighting his respect for the goddess Artemis and illustrating that true heroism involves consideration for higher principles and sacred laws. Similarly, the cleaning of the Augean Stables, while ostensibly a task of labor and strength, exemplified the application of ingenuity and creative problem-solving, reinforcing the idea that heroism encompasses more than mere brute force. These moral and strategic lessons underscore the multidimensional nature of Hercules as a hero, one whose legacy is defined by a balance of power, wisdom, and ethical consideration. The 12 labors of Hercules also serve as allegories for the human experience, reflecting universal challenges that transcend time and culture. The labors symbolize the struggles against adversity, the confrontation with fear and uncertainty, and the pursuit of self-improvement and redemption. Hercules' journey illustrates that true heroism is not the absence of failure or difficulty, but the capacity to confront challenges with courage, adaptability, and moral integrity. For instance, the battle with the Lernaean Hydra represents the need to address problems with strategy and collaboration, demonstrating that complex challenges often require more than isolated effort. Similarly, the capture of Cerberus, a supernatural guardian of the underworld, symbolizes the confrontation with mortality and the unknown, emphasizing the existential and psychological dimensions of heroism. Through these narratives, Hercules' labors transcend their literal interpretations, offering symbolic lessons on perseverance, courage, and the navigation of life's moral and existential complexities. Cultural interpretations of Hercules have varied widely across time, reflecting the adaptability and resonance of his story. In classical Greek culture, Hercules was revered not only as a model of physical excellence, but also as a moral exemplar, whose labors provided instructions in ethics, strategy, and the consequences of human actions. Ancient writers and philosophers frequently cited Hercules' labors as examples of the interplay between divine will and human initiative, exploring how mortal actions are influenced, challenged, and sometimes redirected by forces beyond ordinary comprehension. The duality of Hercules' existence, as both a mortal subject to divine wrath and a figure capable of surpassing human limits, served as a compelling framework for exploring philosophical and theological ideas about fate, responsibility, and virtue. In Roman culture, Hercules' narrative was further adapted and celebrated, emphasizing his endurance, heroic courage, and the didactic value of his trials, ensuring that the hero's influence extended across the Mediterranean and into diverse intellectual and artistic traditions. The symbolism embedded in Hercules' labors extends to a broad range of human endeavors and philosophical reflections. Each labor represents a different dimension of human experience, illustrating challenges of physical, ethical, psychological, and strategic nature. For example, the capture of the cattle of Geryon can be interpreted as a metaphor for perseverance in the face of distance, difficulty, and complex obstacles, highlighting the importance of resilience and sustained effort. The retrieval of the golden apples of the Hesperides, involving negotiation with divine and mythical entities, underscores the importance of wisdom, diplomacy, and the recognition of forces larger than oneself. Even the slaying of the Nemean Lion, while ostensibly a display of physical strength, symbolizes the confrontation with seemingly insurmountable problems and the necessity of innovative solutions. Through these symbolic interpretations, Hercules' labors function as a rich tapestry of lessons, offering insights into human capability, moral decision-making, and the pursuit of excellence in the face of adversity. Hercules' impact extends beyond mythology into literature, art, and cultural symbolism. From ancient Greek vases depicting his battles with monsters to Renaissance paintings capturing his heroic form, Hercules has remained a central figure in artistic expression. His labors have been depicted as allegories of moral and intellectual virtues, inspiring countless generations of storytellers, writers, and artists to explore themes of courage, resilience, and human potential. In literature, the narrative of Hercules has been adapted and reinterpreted across cultures, providing a framework for exploring heroism in diverse contexts, from epic poetry to modern novels. The enduring appeal of Hercules' story lies in its ability to resonate with fundamental human experiences, overcoming fear, confronting challenges, striving for redemption, and aspiring toward excellence, while simultaneously providing an imaginative and symbolic framework through which these experiences can be examined and celebrated. Psychologically, the story of Hercules and his labors resonates with archetypal themes that continue to influence contemporary thought. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, identified Hercules as an archetype of the hero, representing the integration of strength, intelligence, and moral consciousness. Hercules' journey through 12 monumental tasks mirrors the process of individuation, a psychological metaphor for personal growth, self-realization, and the reconciliation of internal conflicts. Each labor, with its unique challenges and symbolic meaning, can be interpreted as a stage in the hero's journey, reflecting the process of confronting and overcoming inner fears, external obstacles, and moral dilemmas. From this perspective, Hercules' narrative is not merely a collection of mythic adventures, but a timeless psychological model, offering insight into human resilience, adaptability, and the pursuit of self-mastery. The influence of Hercules extends into modern popular culture, where his story continues to inspire films, literature, and educational narratives. Characters modeled after Hercules often embody the fusion of physical prowess and moral integrity, serving as symbols of courage and perseverance in the face of adversity. The 12 labors remain a reference point in discussions of heroism, illustrating that challenges, whether physical, ethical, or intellectual, require a holistic combination of courage, wisdom, creativity, and resilience. Educational and literary adaptations of Hercules' story often highlight the ethical dimensions of his labors, emphasizing lessons in responsibility, strategic thinking, and the consequences of human action. Through these contemporary interpretations, the narrative of Hercules maintains its relevance, bridging ancient mythological traditions with modern explorations of character, virtue, and human potential. In exploring the moral lessons of Hercules' labors, one observes recurring themes that provide enduring guidance for human conduct. First, the integration of strength and wisdom demonstrates that power without judgment is incomplete. True heroism requires the application of intelligence, foresight, and ethical consideration. Second, perseverance in the face of adversity underscores the value of determination and resilience, highlighting that success often emerges from sustained effort and the ability to endure hardship. Third, respect for divine or natural order emphasizes the importance of humility, recognition of larger forces, and ethical engagement with the world. Collectively, these lessons convey that heroism is multidimensional, encompassing not only action and courage, but also reflection, strategy, and moral awareness.
The symbolic significance of Hercules' labors also extends to philosophical reflections on human mortality and the pursuit of immortality. While Hercules himself was a mortal subject to divine wrath and human limitations, his labors and their consequences elevated him to a status of near immortality, illustrating the human aspiration to transcend ordinary existence through deeds of courage, virtue, and moral excellence. The 12 labors function as a metaphorical journey, wherein mortal individuals confront the trials of life, seek redemption, and strive toward enduring legacy. This allegorical dimension of Hercules' story resonates with universal human concerns: the the confrontation with mortality, the pursuit of purpose, and the desire to leave an indelible mark on the world. Through this lens, Hercules' narrative provides both inspiration and ethical guidance, bridging the realms of myth, moral philosophy, and existential reflection. Moreover, the narrative of Hercules has been instrumental in shaping cultural perceptions of heroism across civilizations. His story exemplifies a hero whose actions are guided not only by strength, but also by strategic thought, moral discernment, and adherence to principles. By juxtaposing extraordinary physical feats with complex ethical decisions, the labors illustrate that heroism encompasses the integration of multiple dimensions of human capability. The enduring appeal of Hercules lies in the balance he embodies. He is both fallible and exalted, mortal and semi-divine, capable of error, yet able to achieve greatness. This nuanced portrayal resonates with audiences across time, reinforcing the idea that true heroism requires a holistic integration of physical, intellectual, and moral faculties. In conclusion, the story of Hercules and his 12 labors, culminating in the final descent into the underworld, presents a profound exploration of heroism, morality, and human potential. Part 3 emphasizes the enduring legacy of Hercules, examining how his labors serve as allegories for human struggle, sources of moral and philosophical insight, and inspirations for cultural expression. Through his extraordinary feats, Hercules exemplifies the integration of strength, intelligence, perseverance, and ethical discernment, demonstrating that heroism is not a singular quality, but a complex interplay of abilities, virtues, and actions. The narrative of Hercules continues to inspire, educate, and resonate, providing timeless lessons on the pursuit of excellence, the confrontation with adversity, and the enduring quest for moral and personal fulfillment. In both ancient and contemporary contexts, Hercules stands as a symbol of human potential, a paragon of virtue, and a testament to the enduring power of myth to illuminate the human condition. The 12 labors, as a cohesive narrative, offer more than a chronicle of extraordinary feats. They provide a philosophical and ethical framework that remains relevant across generations. They illustrate that the challenges of life, whether mundane or extraordinary, require a combination of courage, wisdom, moral integrity, and resilience. Hercules' journey from the slaying of monsters to the negotiation with divine entities and the confrontation with death itself serves as a model for navigating complex moral and existential landscapes. His story encourages reflection on the nature of strength, the importance of strategy and ethical judgment, and the transformative power of perseverance in the face of adversity. Ultimately, Hercules' legacy endures not merely through tales of physical triumph, but through the lessons his labors impart, that human potential is realized through the harmonization of action, intellect, and moral consciousness, and that true heroism is defined by the courage to confront and transcend one's limitations while honoring principles greater than oneself.